Hello, 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 hello. Okay, amazing. Guys, welcome back. We are finally back with another live stream. We are full throttle. Okay. I hope everyone has had a beautiful Easter holiday. Okay. And we've started with a bang. We've come back. Things have absolutely blown through, gone towards that 30k mark, a little bit above. And now kind of stalled in a little bit. Okay, so this is ahead of the CPI reading tomorrow. Now, I do think majority of the move has been made. I think there's going to be a little bit of a cooling off before the CPI reading tomorrow. Okay, so this is just pricing in for another better reading. Consensus is at 5.2%. Previous was at 6%. So again, they are forecasting for a another decline. Okay, now if we get that 5.2%, more than likely to continue pushing up. Okay, deeper into that pivotal range on Bitcoin, could push as high as 32-ish, maybe a little bit further. If we do get that weaker reader. Now, the forecasts on a month-on-month basis are actually showing signs of a revival, but the markets are going to be looking at that headline figure really. Again, anything to push towards the narrative of a Fed pause come in next month. I think it's on the 6th of May. Okay, the next interest rate decision. So, yeah. So, got a nice push up higher. There's going to be a decent amount of trades available. Now, we have continued to keep our two positions open from last week, the XRP trade as well as the Algo trade. Okay, both in profit. So, again, these are the ones that we're going to hold over the course of tomorrow. If that figure comes in relatively unchanged, okay, and I'm talking about the headline figure, we'll see how things kind of react, how the markets react, and then we'll kind of make a decision from there. But yeah, we could very much see a continuation, a bit deeper, push towards that 32k mark. It's a very nice push up higher. We're still running on very low volume. So yeah, we still need to see that sell side to come in. Again, it's the markets are going to wait for that CPI. Putting together the figures that we got last week, that labour market figure, they are showing signs that the labour market is weakening. Markets weren't even reacting how they really should have off the labour market data. The labour market data came down, and we weren't seeing that instant reaction. We actually saw it kind of reacting the opposite, or kind of staying relatively unchanged and then reacting a little bit later on. And I'm talking more specifically to that JOLTS data, where we didn't see much happening, and then later on, when the markets reopened, so over the crossover period, that's when things started to push up. But okay, let's touch on the actual TA of the market currently. Again, we will put out a full market update because it's been a while since we've done one. We'll send it out. It won't be here on TradingView, but we will get one out later on. So at least you're updated in terms of okay, what the hell is what the hell am I supposed to be expecting on that CPI tomorrow? But yeah, so the range that we were moving in for a good amount of time, we broke out of. We held that trend line. Okay. The structure was very, very, very nice. Okay, so there is this natural kind of area where prices have been holding support. As you can see, support, 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 and then we got this kind of compression. We held very low volume, and then we got that push up higher. It came in, retested that level for support, and then we got that huge explosion happening. And breaking out of the top of the range, right? So let's kind of get things out of here that we don't need. Okay, the structure has changed. We'll keep that level there as it is the top of the range, and we could come back down and confirm that level. We can get rid of this, just clear up some of the TA that we don't need. But yeah, I mean, apart from that, obviously, those that have been with us and have been following the channel and our updates, we had the tighter range, which was here, and then we had the wider range, right? On the bottom end, it was about 25k, which was this previous price structure. And then on the top end, the first target was about 30k. So we're about $400 off. So it kind of breached it ever so slightly, as you can see. So we are at that kind of psychological level currently. But we could push towards that 32k, which is still within that key pivotal zone on Bitcoin, right? Let me show you, right? So this area here of strong previous support. Okay, we broke, very briefly breached, pushed back up and kept to that structure. We broke out. And now we're back at that level, right? So we've still got a little bit of space to continue, okay, for the shorts to actually come in, because at the moment we're not seeing any shorters. But again, I mean, the markets could very, very well react majorly off weaker CPI, and we could very much breach it and push much higher. Okay, the next target after the 32 has been breached is about 34 to 35k, and that would be pretty huge, just because I mean we've gone past that kind of the most key level on Bitcoin, right? So the dollar index has left a gap on top, just as you can see here. Okay, we are very, very, very weak, and we'll be getting some pretty crazy price action on the dollar, that's for sure. So we had a nice push up, and then we just come straight back down. The way that I'm looking at it, in case headline CPI comes in weaker again, this continues to come down. This is your next strong area of support between 101 and 100.4. That's where we're looking for support to kind of hold a little bit better. In doing so, risk on assets are more than likely to continue pushing up again. I mean, we're going to have to see how much of a reaction we're going to get on risk on assets, right? But yeah, the dollar continues to look very, very, very weak, building on that negative structure here. So we could very, very well see a very strong push to the downside. But again, we'll keep a close eye on things. We'll see how things kind of play out, and then we'll go from there. Yeah, CPI is the most important figure of the month, and again, it gives us a little bit more of an idea as to, okay, how is the Fed most likely going to come in next month? As mentioned, excuse me, as mentioned before, as mentioned before, there is a massive disparity between the market expectations and the Fed's expectations. The market's already pricing in a Fed pause coming May, whereas there's still space for another 0.25% increase coming May, and that's kind of the more likely scenario that the Fed's going to push towards. And yeah, I mean, it could be the case. Okay, headline CPI comes down, and we continue in a bullish momentum. And then come the that interest rate decision in May. Okay, it's in the first week of May. The Fed hikes again, and the markets really do take that negatively, and then we start seeing a massive turnaround in the market. So that's kind of the outlook and the projections that we're looking at playing out. But again, we'll see. We'll see how things kind of play out. Welcome, my friend, Gold, and tell me what happened. Yeah, I'll have a little look. Let's have a little look. Let me open a different chart. Okay, so gold. Okay, so gold's coming off its highs. It came up to that area that we spoke about, and we kind of were expecting the top to kind of fill in. Now we're kind of seeing that pullback. Again, it's kind of the risk on environment, seeing weaker labor market data. Okay, that's really good news for risk on assets, right? So we saw a nice push up here, off the back end of, so the weaker labor market data was kind of taken in two ways, right? So it was taken, and you saw it even on how kind of Bitcoin reacted, right? It wasn't an instant, right? Okay, it's the green light. We're going to push up higher. It kind of lagged. Okay, where realistically, it's very good news for risk on assets, and there should be a strong push to the upside, right? We didn't get that. We got a delayed reaction, and even on non-farm payrolls, I mean, Bitcoin obviously was trades 24/7. Still didn't see a huge reaction, right? We saw the reaction when the markets reopened after Easter. So again, delayed, but you could have taken it in two different ways, right? Weaker labor market data. Okay, so pushing towards the narrative of this high interest rate environment is now taking effect in the economy, and should essentially be bringing inflation down, which we have been seeing, right? So it should be a risk on environment, but you can also take it on the other hand as we're now getting closer towards the recession, right? Which isn't good news. So gold, so some investors took it as that okay, the labor market is weakening, which essentially is one of the components in terms of, okay, bringing the inflation down, right? So if there's more people out of work, there's less spending in the economy overall, okay, bringing down the aggregate demand down, which is basically kind of what the Fed wants to achieve to bring down inflation. So gold being a safe haven for that sort of recessionary environment, you get that nice push, and that's where you get this, okay. But now we're coming off the highs again. I mean, you've been seeing it kind of in the risk on assets. Okay, you've got the green light. It's also kind of priced it in towards the expectation that inflation is going to come down, which is exactly what risk on assets wants to see, right? So yeah, we're just coming off the highs. It's a cooling off. It's a correction. I presume that, okay, maybe we come down a little bit more if CPI comes down, but we're still going to push up higher again, okay? And I think this is going, so once we get weaker CPI, we come down, we find a bottom somewhere around here, and then as we push closer towards that interest rate decision on the 6th of May, we start to climb again, right? Because there is such a huge gap between the market expectations and the Fed expectations, and the Fed is more than likely to continue its rate hikes and increase by 0.25 in May, and that's where it will cap it, okay? That's where it will stop and wait. Whereas the markets aren't pricing in for another rate hike, right? So if they see that, that's where we could potentially start seeing a top on risk on assets, and we will see gold start to push in. Those investors are going to be looking for the safe haven. They're going to start putting their money more so in gold as well as silver, just preparing for that big turnaround. But yeah, that's essentially on gold. It's just coming off its high, had a very, very strong push up, okay, and it's just a bit of a correction, it's a bit of a cooling off ahead of the market. It needs to see that switch in dynamics, right? At the moment, it's a risk-on environment. As you can see, Bitcoin's absolutely flying. So, yeah, there's going to be a slight turnaround. It's just a bit of structure building up here before going again. But, yeah, essentially that's it. Gold's going to probably come down a little bit more and correct before getting closer to that interest rate decision and then start to push up again. Oil. Let's have a little look, because I've really been on top of the charts over this Easter holiday. Kind of had a little bit of time off, so let's see. So, I mean, we've not really got much happening, have we? We got a very strong push up high, and we're just coming off that high after that supply cut from OPEC Plus. And I presume, okay, we're just going to come down a little bit more, have a healthy correction, and then continue pushing up. That's the way that things are looking, this is oil is definitely going to be pushing up much, 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 much higher. Without a doubt, that was a huge, huge, huge increase in prices. You're probably going to see somewhere around the region of $90 a barrel. It wouldn't surprise me. Again, this is also going to be putting some pressure on inflation. This is the sort of thing that the Fed doesn't want to see. But again, yeah, we'll see how things kind of play out here. Um, Thanks. Yeah, no problem, my man. Feel free to ask us anything. More than happy to go through. Now, I mean, altcoins, crypto in general has had a huge, huge, huge push. Let me just have a little look on these equity markets. Um, so, I mean, the equity market saw a bit more of an instant reaction to the data that we got last week, whereas Bitcoin kind of held off a little bit, and now we're seeing that switch up. Okay, so the equity market is kind of holding, whereas the Bitcoin, well, the crypto market is actually seeing a bit more of a push up higher. So we are at resistance here. Okay, we're likely just continue to hold off, if not actually pull back ever so slightly ahead of CPI. That's your green light. CPI comes down, markets are going to see that much stronger reaction. It's again, as mentioned before, it's the strongest data point of the month, and that's where the market has got its eyes fixated on, right? um, so yeah, we're at resistance. I mean, equities as a whole is at resistance. We're kind of just holding off, likely to pull back ever so slightly. Not expecting huge movements until CPI. CPI comes out. Again, as mentioned, 5.2% is consensus compared to 6% as previous. And the month-on-month figures are actually showing revivals. No audio. I'm pretty sure there is audio. There should be audio. I mean, we're getting responses back from our TA, so I think that might be a problem on your side. If anyone else in the stream can let me know whether you can hear me or not, that would be amazing. Because it is a problem if you guys can't hear me. Okay, so let's go over to what I've got my eyes on in terms of alt. Okay, so I mean, we're getting a nice pullback here. Things have had a very strong push up higher. I'm not expecting too much movement now. I mean, things have broken out heavily. I mean, it's green across the board, as you can see. Huge, huge numbers. But Ocean looks very nice. There's going to be a little bit of a cooling off. I'm probably not looking at taking too many positions today. Again, it's a little bit dangerous ahead of CPI. So, yeah, we'll get CPI, and then we can start making decisions on off the back of that release. But yeah, Ocean looks really good. XRP looks really good. So yeah, we'll see how things kind of play out, but they are on a rampage, that's for sure. Where did you learn to trade? All over the place, mate. I have been training for years and years. It's taken a long, 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 long time. But yeah, essentially kind of self-taught. Um, but yeah, I wouldn't recommend that. It's a very, very long road if you're trying to teach yourself. That's for sure. The best way to learn really is by tuning in onto live streams, or finding a mentor and getting that one-to-one FaceTime. That's the best way. If you are learning by yourself, don't bother spending money on courses, anything like that. If you're going to spend money, get a mentor and get that one-to-one time, or otherwise tune into live streams. That's the best way, and that's kind of the fastest way that you're going to learn as much as possible in a short space of time. Yeah, I mean, I'm not looking at too much movement, unfortunately. I'm gonna have a little look at some of these other markets if we can get anything else. Let me have a little look as to what we're expecting. I don't think we're getting too much data. Um, today, what is it today? Tuesday the 11th. Okay. Yeah, we're really not getting too much data, that's for sure. It's going to be a relatively quiet day. We've had the big move happen. I'm not looking at too much crazy stuff happening today. Yeah, markets are definitely going to be setting up for tomorrow. There's not going to be huge moves. Let's have a little look at Matic. See if we got anything nice happening here. I mean, Matic's relatively unchanged compared to a lot of these alts. So it's actually setting up some very nice structure. Very nice structure. Nice buy side coming in off here. Slight tailing off. Holding on to support. This is going to give you a relatively nice entry just because it's also unchanged and it does have a very good tendency to make some large moves, and it is building on that positive structure. We just needed to pull back a little bit, give us a bit of a better entry somewhere around this region here, hold, and then we can go again, play it nice and short just to that top, hold there. Yeah, some very nice structure indeed. Yeah, this is one to keep in your pipeline, that's for sure. Even if I mean, it's got a good chance of breaching through this point. There's a natural level of resistance here, as you can see, right? So if we manage to breach through here, we can push all the way up to about 1.2, if not a little bit higher. We're kind of moving within a much wider range, as you can see. But yeah, keep that one on your pipeline, that's for sure. It's looking very nice. But as you can see, I mean, Ocean looks fantastic. It really does look good. Um, we are at resistance, so ideally we want a little bit of a pullback on that lower time frame on that 1 hour. Again, I wouldn't be taking any positions really after that huge push. It's not an ideal entry to be getting in. So you wanna wait for that pullback. I mean, XRP is setting up. You got kind of this wider range here that I'm moving within. It's coming back, which is nice. It's going to give you a nice entry, but it's building up on some nice positive structure. So ideally, we come here, hold, and then we can kind of push again. So those are your three that you want to keep an eye on. That's for sure. Matic does look really nice. It's relatively unchanged, so it's gearing up for a nice push up higher. We could see somewhere around this region push up. Hopefully we start seeing some nice sell side. If we start to see kind of wicks on the top, sell side coming in on that lower time frame, that's your go-to to see a quick switch up, back down, and cancel all of these gains that we've had. Would you recommend trading, or is there better investments? So I mean, they're completely two different things, right? It depends how much time and commitment you've got to give. Trading, you've got to give a lot of time and commitment. Okay, it's not a quick road. In terms of investment, okay, you don't need to put as much time and commitment into investment, right? And it's a great time. Ideally, you want to have both entities, right? They are separate. Okay, you got to treat them completely separate to each other because they are. Um, but again, it depends how much time and commitment you've got to give. If you've got the time and commitment to give to learning something new, try out trading. But if you don't, just go for the investment. I mean, ideally, where you want to start off is start investing and gain that knowledge, okay? Because the skills that you'll learn in investment, you can transfer over. So it gives you a nice kind of base point to start off, but they're completely separate, completely different. Um, hello, hello, hello. But yeah, there's a lot of time and commitment that you got to give to learning to trade. It's not a quick road. Definitely not a quick road. Those that are just joining us, welcome, by the way. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for the follows on the stream. Those that are new to the stream, feel free to touch base with us in that chat. Yeah, message us any tier that you want us to go over. That's cool. Crypto, forex, commodities, equity, stocks. Ask away. More than happy to touch base on it. Okay. So yeah, let's see. We've had a big move on crypto. Okay, I mean it was as expected. 30k was the first target. Okay, we very briefly breached it. And now we're finding resistance. I don't see much more of a move happening, to be honest. This is just pricing in for a weaker CPI reading tomorrow. Markets will hold off for that CPI reading. And then, yeah, it's likely to come down again, really. And I presume putting together the weaker labour market that we got last week, together with weaker CPI once again, markets are going to react from that. Now, we could see a very large reaction. We could see, I mean, a slightly muted reaction. If we start to push past 32, I mean, the next target is 34, 35. We've got some previous structure here as well. Before finding some more resistance. At the moment, we're seeing very weak sell side, so we do need to see that sell side to kind of come in at stronger points. Otherwise, we're just going to continue to push up. The sell side just looks extremely weak. So yeah, until we start seeing stronger sell side, it's green light for prices to push up higher. So we'll go with what the market shows us. How are you? I'm good. I hope you had a lovely Easter holiday break. Back to it. Okay, we started with a bang. And yeah, this month is going to be a big one. Okay, obviously we get the interest rate decision next month, the beginning of next month. And obviously we got some big data to get through. That's for sure. Yeah, the way things are looking, I wouldn't even want to take any shorts, to be honest, just because of the huge move. Um, the best thing to do is just stay patient after that huge move there. As mentioned, we are in long on XRP and Algo. So again, they're kind of a little bit medium term plays. So we'll see how things kind of play out on CPI tomorrow. But yeah, no, I'm not looking at huge pullbacks. We're just seeing a very slight correction, and then things start accumulating again. Um, so to enter trades at this point here is it's just being a little bit stupid. So it's best just stay patient, wait for a pullback, wait for CPI essentially to come out, and then see how things kind of react. There's going to be a lot of volatility on that CPI, okay, and I don't expect a instant reaction to the upside if it does come down. Expect kind of the squeezing out of longs on the downside, and then kind of moving in its true direction after 15-30 minutes. Again, depending on what the figure comes out to be. So yeah, gotta just stay patient here and wait it out. Okay, but yeah, I mean, there's nothing really to take on. I mean, the way that we're playing out today, we're just going to sit on the sideline and just warm up with the markets. Yeah, the majority of the moves have been made. The pricing in for that CPI now it's just a little bit of a calling off ahead of it. So you're not going to get the kind of moves worthwhile capitalizing on, and it's just a bit risky. Taking a position and then potentially getting caught up and having to stay in a position ahead of CPI. CPI comes out, it's going to be volatile, and then you're playing with risk. Yeah, so there's no need for it. But yeah, okay, so we'll leave it there. Thank you very much for joining me. Okay, again, as mentioned, the way that we're playing it, we're just sitting on the sideline. We're not looking to take anything until after CPI. But yeah, we'll bring out another update tomorrow morning. We'll come live for a London live trading session. But yeah, guys, thank you very much for joining me. As mentioned, we will put out a market update today. Again, we don't post market updates here on TradingView anymore. So just for your information. And yeah, we'll see you very soon. Have a lovely day. And if we don't see you later on today, hopefully we'll see you tomorrow morning for a London live trading session. Okay, it's full throttle. We're back in action. So yeah, let's see. Thank you.